I feel like I'm at risk of turning into a massive conspiracy theorist here, but I'm starting to wonder if politicians are even human beings. Right, let's start at the top. Donald Trump is on trial right now for paying women huge sums of money to shut up about horrific things that he did to them. There's a string more allegations waiting to come to court about all sorts of other illegal things that he's done, from keeping important documents in his bathroom at Mar-a-Lago to directly being linked to the January 6th insurgency in the US. It's a whole catalogue of horrific things, and yet he wanders around claiming it's all a big conspiracy against him, claiming that they can't pin anything on him, and continuing to run for the presidency. Here in the UK, the Tories have just had a string of horrific allegations, all sorts of awful things that they've done, that they've been accused of. This week we've seen Mark Menzies, who's a Tory MP up in Scotland, has been accused of spending campaign funds paying off somebody who was blackmailing him after he went on a date that went wrong, and he ended up locked in a flat at 3:15 in the morning. And it's just such a quagmire. There are 13 members of the House of Lords who have direct links to companies that provide weapons to Israel. 13, right? There are 7 who work for these companies, including Israeli-owned companies, and another 6 who have shares in these companies and profit directly from the ongoing war there. And it's almost like they're just not human beings, because if they were human beings, they'd be able to empathise with those around them. They wouldn't be doing what the Americans are doing, which is telling Israel that if they refrain from an all-out attack on Iran, one of their strategic interests, then they will support them in their campaign to brutally murder innocent civilians in Rafah. Like, how can you be negotiating with actual people's actual lives in the balance? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's actually worse than just murder. What is happening right now in Rafah is so utterly disgusting. People being starved, people being deprived of water, people having their basic needs not met when they could so easily be met, when there are aid trucks a few miles away, often less than that, that simply can't get through. What Israel is doing right now is sending drones round refugee camps in Rafah, playing the sound of women and children crying out for help, in the hope that people will come to their windows, will step outside their tents, will come out into the street to try and help people who appear to be in distress, and they can then be shot down by these drones there in the street. So people are having to hide in their homes and block out what sounds like their own loved ones desperately crying in pain. This is a new level of torture and inhumanity beyond anything that I can get my frickin' head round, and I expect you can either. Why do we live in a world where politicians can just carry on as if this is something normal? Anyone caught up in this sleaze, caught up in this, there are billions of people on Earth, and 99.9% of us know better than this instinctively, without having to even stop and think about it for a millisecond. Get them out and replace them with human beings. See you next week. Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month, and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me, and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these videos and let people out there know what's going on.